right, welcome. Hello, good afternoon. Very comfy Saturday evening, almost. Maybe some afternoon for some people here. We've got Speedgaming Online for Link to the Past Randomizer, a pretty far deep in the bracket match for winners of round 4 between Telethar and Jamo, two amazing runners. Not only, of course, limited to spoiler. It's going to be one heck of a match. Very, very excited. I am joined today by the one and only. Well, actually, it's the 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8 only PH. How's it going?
Hello, Clearmouse. Yeah,
Hello.
I was going to say there are, I think, 112,357 other PHs. I'm pretty sure somewhere out there, but
plus like 13. I'm bad at math. How many more do we have in the Fibonacci series?
Yeah, we just keep going. But no, it's I'm super excited. Like you say, Telethar and Jamo are awesome. Spoiler is a really cool mode, so I'm pumped to watch this and see what the two of these guys come up with.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And of course, we have the awesome Aria for us tracking today. And actually, Aria is also the 22,942nd Aria that's out there. I feel almost left out now. I don't have any more numbers. I guess I have to go and add a couple.
No, that's because you're Clearmouse 1. You are the
Oh, right. You're right. I Clearmouse 1.
Obviously.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
That may or may not be some of my other usernames because Clearmouse was taken. just one of those things. But yeah. So we actually see at least on Jamo's screen, timers kind of sticking, counting down. They're just at the end of their 15-minute study period. Now, for full disclosure, PH and I did kind of look at the the log and spot checked a few things. We are at least Telethar will be extremely happy. We do see a Sank start. We are rushing boots. That is the prime directive of any spoiler log. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Rushing
especially
boots.
when they are in a highly accessible light world location. See Telethar checking the prize packs there, getting himself a lucky bomb drop. I'm glad to see Jamo got that too, because sometimes it can be one of those things that's
For
a little
sure.
annoying if somebody gets lucky there and the other one doesn't.
Yeah, and I think actually one bomb, at least from what I kind of saw so far, actually would be extremely helpful. The items, at least in early game, don't look that bad. So you see the rushing boots. That's exactly how it should be. Okay, we're rushing boots. Spoiler alert: we're gonna get boots right here in the well.
It's the so
the other one. Wait, it's the other one.
Okay, I was actually about to say. So I was a little surprised to see this, but I think it's probably there are some like somewhat awkward locations for some of the other like weapons and whatnot. I think so. This may be a little bit of a kind of look, going fast is important, but dying is slow. So getting that armor early is really nice for survivability.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah. We actually kind of see, I think both Jamo and Telethar is kind of picking up some heart pieces as well. So being able to at least have that fourth heart container, especially on Jamo's side, is extremely nice. Talking about safeties, by the way, again, we got powder, we got lamp, we have fire rod. In Link's house, that is a very extremely convenient to be able to get all of a sudden.
Yeah, this is a pretty friendly set of early game items in a lot of ways. So yeah, I think this is magic.
Okay, this is small.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I think we did see it. Yeah. So this is actually some really nice spoiler log resource planning. Again, so if you, oh my gosh, Telethar, please help.
This is why we need that armor.
Exactly. Yes, that blue mail is ultra important. But yeah, so like when you play a seed kind of blind without the spoiler log, you're exploring everything, right? Going through Cat Creek. Okay, good. We got the double shot. That's the important part.
Calculated
enough. Okay. Okay, did I mention anything about watching spoilers, especially in the early game, is absolutely terrifying? Because it is. We almost died in Mini Moldorm. We almost didn't succeed in Mini Moldorm, and these time losses actually can be extremely expensive. Also extremely tilting, especially if it's early game, because you've only played for how much? Under 3 minutes, and you're already feeling like you're 45 seconds behind.
Yeah, and it's interesting that in spoiler, way more than in other modes, that time loss feels so, right? Like it feels so magnified. Dropping a minute in a regular rando seed, you're like, well, that's annoying, but a lot of rando races don't actually finish that close. But in this, absolutely at this level too, like these guys could definitely have like a minute difference be what causes a win or a loss.
Oh yeah, and for sure, and also if you play a seed, without the spoiler log, right? Well, how many classic where ice rod game do we get to play for an unknown specified amount of time, right? But and so always at the end, you can't ever, you don't ever really want to forfeit or like dot done early. I'm sorry, dot forfeit early. If your opponent's not done because you really don't know what kind of like what's happening, right? But here, there's not going to be much of I wonder, how long my opponent's going to take to find the ice rod because, well, we have the log. You can also even see where your opponent is, right? Because you can actually watch the restream, you can watch their stream. So, you kind of maybe get a sense of how long you and yeah, like if you die or any type of like even, you didn't succeed the first time, right? Or something happens where you have a slight time delay. That like the only real way you're going to be able to make up that time is if your opponent also does something similar, right? In order to also to incur a time loss. Right. So yeah, it's I mean it's almost kind of like speed running, right? Like as a race as opposed to like a rando race, because it's really hard to be able to kind of like make up the time.
No, absolutely. It's one of those things where in a rando race, something like Missing Spooky doesn't feel like the end of the world, and you do it. And if you were running like an NMG, for example, you're like, everything makes me sad.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're like, is he done yet? Oh, maybe he'll mess up torch. No, he got torch glitch. Oh, maybe he'll mess up. No, he'll okay. All right, we're just gonna keep going. It's fine. Everything's fine. We got actually a little bit of minor divergence all of a sudden. Oh, Telethar. Okay, Telethar, it's okay. You can DM. It's fine. You don't need to talk to pink balls that actually, cost time in text boxes. It's fine. Talk about pink balls. We got a static pink ball also in Spectral Cave. Oh, yes.
Missing the bomb jump there. That's unfortunate. Speaking of like time, like that is a time sink there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we actually, it's kind of interesting that I guess like Telethar is also going to do, as I assume he's going to do Spec Rock Cave after Hera, which it looks like.
Yeah. This is awkward. Without like a melee weapon, you've got to.
Oh my gosh, is he farming bombs?
No,
he is farming.
You can't kill if you don't have a melee weapon. You can't kill both of the hard hat. You can't kill all three of the hard hat beetles in one go.
Yeah. Actually, you're right. Okay, so that's what Telethar is doing. Telethar is, I guess, resetting the room. I'm not sure what he's. It's okay. It's fine.
He missed the switch.
Okay,
he went through right before the switch before the switch switched.
Telethar, you're too fast. Okay, stop being too fast.
Exactly.
Yeah, by the way, though, we actually saw, Check's also pointing out, the Jamo actually on the other side, he was also farming bombs. So Telethar had one shot of Fire Rod left right before, because he didn't have to use all of them in Mini Moldorm. Jamo, on the other hand, though, unfortunately, he had to use all of his shots, and so now he needs something in order to hit the switch. And you talk about having melee, would have been really nice with a melee weapon. PH, Hera is, like, awful. When you don't have this.
And you saw Telethar trying to use, I think what he was trying to do there is use a select buffer to get the one bomb to count twice for the.
You can do that?
Yeah, because he, I think that's what he was going for. That's unless I missed something. I think that was his idea.
I had no idea that you could even do this. Jamo, okay, we're gonna stun them, I guess. I didn't check the stun prize.
Yeah, see, like, this is the problem, is that he's trying to knock them into the pit. There we go.
Oh.
Nicely done, actually.
Wow, dude. Yeah, and this is actually one of those things where I think it does come up, obviously, something more common in Hera, but like, especially for like early spoiler log, like these are some things that you may not actually consider, because you're like, okay, I'm gonna go to Hera, and I'm gonna go get my pearl, or I'm gonna go get whatever here is in the basement, didn't actually to see, and then you're like, it's fine, and you're just gonna go get the item, which is apparently the hammer, okay? But, how in this case do you actually go and hit the switches, right? You actually need resources if you don't have a boomerang, right? You have a sword, you have that nice hammer that you don't have, from the basement. It's suddenly, you get all the way up here, and then you're just like, how am I gonna do this,
Yeah, it's painful. And you can see Jamo looks like he's just gonna wait and then hit the switch on the other side. Telethar choosing to go get his pearl afterwards, which I like because it means he doesn't have to go come back out from the cave.
Yeah. That certainly does look pretty good. And right, so once we have, in this case, looks like we have a hammer, our pearl, and our glove. So we do have regular Dark World access. We are doing the tried and true 50-50 bomb farm in front of our house. That is a we apparently need. We're going to Hype Cave. That's what I'm guessing because we're getting 2 bombs.
This is painful.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And yeah, you actually see, Telethar, he does have 50 rupees. He might have gotten a drop somewhere, but like even gonna go buy bombs can be pretty expensive as well. You have to go to the bomb shop, you gotta go spend the money. You gotta come out of the bomb shop and go to wherever you're going. This is... Oh, wow. This suddenly, even the spoiler log, where everything is. It's the execution, and actually how you actually do the route is actually now very, very important.
Yeah. No, it's a huge difference maker. There's also a lot of like really interesting little small optimizations, like Telethar at this. So we saw Jamo grab the piece of heart in Sanctuary at the start, and then Telethar waited until after he had the mirror and grabbed it and was able to mirror out. So it's like little things like that, which in like a normal seed, they're probably only a second or two, but like in something like spoiler, like something that saves you maybe 2 or 3 seconds can actually be a really big deal.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because, again, like the amount of time, I guess, like variability that you can have between yourself and your opponent in a regular rando seed. I mean, it can be, wildly fluctuating, right? Very, very high range because you're looking for stuff, right? But here, I mean, all the searching, is kind of already taken out. Yeah, you will have some probably still macro differences between the routes. But, in terms of execution, that is really like, once you lose the time, it's going to be very difficult to get it back.
Yeah, and we can see how close these two are still, right? After what seemed like some divergence in Hera in just kind of like ordering. They're, a couple screens apart. Like, Telethar definitely is ahead, but it's not in any way, shape, or form like a massive difference right now.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. And Ari has already marked all of our crystals and pendants that we have to go beat. Yeah, we have beaten 0 crystal dungeons, so there is still a good amount of game to play. Now it looks like at least the general strategy though is we're gonna go and run a bunch of errands before we can actually go and beat a dungeon, which is fine.
Yeah, I think that's, and the idea here too is that with stuff being when it's accessible, right? You want to try and, I think, knock stuff out. Ideally, as you're going to like a dungeon, right? If you can get something on the path, I mean, you look, Clearmouse, you're a great pilot. Like, what's your logic when you think about how to put together a seed?
So I will say that pilot spoiler is maybe a little bit different than regular spoiler in that like you have a 15-minute study period. But that being said, right? Like if when I'm trying to search for things, I just want to be as just like any other approach. You want to try and be as efficient as you can, right? And especially right now where it looks like we're kind of lacking an overworld flute, right? We do see the Miser crystals. We have to go get it eventually. Also, we're lacking myths. Did you know we're lacking myths on Telethar's side? Okay, we don't have to pay attention to that. But yeah, it's also just one of those things where it's like, okay, well, I want to be able to go do everything that I can. So I only really want to make one trip in, right? Into like, let's say it looks like Jamo's going to Pod. Maybe Eastern if we need something in there. I didn't actually go check. Telethar is coming into the village. And so, like, especially without the flute, you really want to try and limit the number of times you come back, right? Because every single time you come here, it's another, I don't know, like 30, 40 seconds just to make the trip over.
Yeah, and this is interesting because, so, I'm actually, to your point about not having a flute, I think this is probably one of the reasons why Jamo chose to prioritize coming over to Pod.
Okay.
And not to like give too much away, but so the flute is over here in Pod, but it's really interesting because Telethar chose to chase from Dig Game up through and take care of getting his second sword. We needed the flippers, which he just pulled out of Thieves. But it does mean that he's going to delay getting to his flute. So we'll see how much of that plays in versus, I think maybe what it looks like to me is Telethar's like transit here is a little bit cleaner, straight up into this stuff. And he will have very damage too.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it, right? So he got his first sword out of Dig Game, which I mean, it's not gonna be, it's for all things considered, like The first sword, if you get it in Dark World, which is Dig Game, there's easy money. It's actually a pretty good sword. That being said, we had to go through all of the shenanigans in Hera, so it would have been kind of nice to have that sword in Light World. But beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah.
And then the fact that we have Master Sword going into Mothula, actually pretty decent loadout, right? 6 hearts, blue mail, fire rod, hammer, Master Sword, looking pretty good.
Yeah, for a spoiler, this is downright comfy.
Oh yeah, it's almost luxurious, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. I think this is mostly getting the mitts.
Oh, I see. Oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, I can definitely read the tracker. Skullwoods is a pendant. Yes. We gone into every pendant so far. Thieves Town. Oh, we haven't gotten to Eastern. Okay, that might be something. We've gone to Skullwood, the back of Skullwoods, no less, and Thieves Town to go get our flippers. Yeah. Again, I appreciate the spoiler log. I sometimes do not want to play scenes like this by myself without having to know, in this case, to go search for them, instead of someone just telling me, hey, by the way, your bits are here, and hey, by the way, your ice rod's here.
Oh yeah, sometimes there are certain scenes where you're like, man, if I didn't have a spoiler, this would suck.
Yes.
Like, I would not get to this for an hour and 45 minutes. This is so painful. Yeah.
By the way, I mean, talking about even, when, in this case, like, 2 people have the log, right? They have the same 15-minute study period. Maybe, outside of Light World, it looked like the route was pretty linear, but we have some, like, extremely different divergent routes, going for Telethar and Jamo. Like, Telethar went to go get his mitts, immediately rushed the mountain. Didn't go to pod, right? Maybe he's going to pod now, but we're going to see in this case who ends up having maybe a little bit more, more efficient route.
Yeah, I'm curious to see because it's interesting where each of them goes from here, and also, because the other thing is the medallions that we need, right? It looks like Telethar is headed towards Swamp here, which I think I may understand. I would hesitate to say I truly understand what Telethar is doing, only because he thinks about this way better than I do. But I think I get the idea here. He seems like he's pushing a little bit some of his like offensive options a little earlier, and worrying a little less about the flute.
Okay, yeah, that definitely makes sense. Yeah, because it does seem like, it tells a while, like, he doesn't have the flute. His overworld route, as you mentioned, actually has been, it's been pretty clean, right? As in, like, we went to Dig Game, saved and went back, and then we did a nice kind of like path from Thieves Town into Skullwoods, running back down south to Swamp. Maybe we're gonna just run from Swamp to Pod, instead of having to make different routes.
And then once he gets into pod, he'll get the stuff that he needs out of it. But having, frankly, like, better equipment will make the dungeon faster.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Because we can see Jamo had to go back in, had to grab his ether here.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of curious here. Like, so Jamo went to go beat Helma, and so in full disclosure, I didn't actually look at the key layout, for this. Actually curious in this case if it's actually faster to come in versus, I guess, like, do. Like, go to the back. Maybe the big key was like early, and then it would have been better to, to beat Helma first and then come back.
Yeah, I think it's kind of potentially based on like the layout with the big key. I think on the right there.
Oh, okay. So if it was the Bollock side, then you can just go straight to Helma, right? And then you're walk back. Yeah. Okay, all right, that makes sense.
I think that's the logic. Is that now I haven't like timed it or anything, but that would that makes sense to me. That would be my hunch. Is that the thinking there is go straight to Helma, and then just come back in is probably faster than mirroring and coming back around afterwards.
Okay, yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense. Yeah, we actually can see Jamo just prematurely thinking we're gonna go get King's Tomb alongside after we start from Sanctuary. We don't actually have the mitts quite yet, but he remembered this time. Yes.
That's two. Each of our runners got that once.
Yeah, that's, sometimes it's just very easy to forget these things, right? Because like you have a 15-minute study period. You can look at the log, you can look at your notes, all you want. It's always still accessible, but this is a pretty fast-paced thing, and then have you ever forgotten a step in your like 50-step process? Of course you have, right? So.
I forget I forget on regular seeds, much less a spoiler seed where you're trying to think through 15 different things at once. So
Yeah. You can definitely tell, though. I mean, like, so I'm not actually sure how much of a presence Jamo has had maybe in the last, like, let's say, like 2 to 3 years. Certainly has come kind of back on the scene very recently, probably within like the last year or so. Definitely correct me if I'm wrong. But has made an extreme splash basically on the scene. He's, I think, I want to say top 8 maybe as part of the Casual Boost tournament this year. Obviously, he's here one round before the winter semifinals for Spoiler Lock. I mean, Spoiler is a very punishing and challenging mode too, right? So has certainly done quite well.
He's done great. He was Jamo was like an OG NMG runner, so he had like there's actually, because I was curious, I was looking at it. There's like commentary about how he was like pushed to get really quickly down into like the low 130s back in 2012. And for frame of reference, in like that time frame, like a sub 90 was like I think like a top 20-ish time. So like a low 130 was really, 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 really good.
For sure. Oh yeah. I mean, like, and it's really actually good to see, you know, on the one hand, like being able to see so many people kind of like speedrunning NMG, getting into, especially I think Rando was a good, you know, splash into, but if being one of the, you know, original people, yeah, like I think sub 90 was, you know, like the bar, right, to go past, and then you were, you know, what, like, yeah, top 20, and then I mean, anything kind of beyond that is just like, you know, kind of unheard of.
Yeah, exactly. Like that was I was speaking with Evil Ash, who's like one of the OGs who also helped the randomizer.
Oh my gosh, all these names.
And he was chatting about how like his time, he has like a 129, but like when he got on the leaderboard, which was like 9 years ago, he was like like the middle of the first page or something like that. And now it's you know, it's just so many people who've gotten so good at the game, which has been awesome to see.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, randomizer, I think is probably true for many people, was kind of, you know, a very, you know, breath of fresh air, right? Coming, you know, revitalizing like the more just like classic but static, right? NMG, you know, the original game. You know, every single time you play this game, right, you kind of get the comfort of all the mechanics and stuff that, you know, you already know, but all the items are randomized, right? So it's almost kind of like a new old game. You know, or an old new game. Yeah. You got a lot of best of many worlds here, right? And for Spoiler, it's just like a good combination, right? Because sometimes, you know, when you go on enough ice rod hunts, you get maybe a little, just, you know, a little bit, you know, saddened by the fact that maybe you're searching for forever, but you know, here you know everything, and it's a really good combination of like speed, execution.
No, although this is interesting because it was to our conversation earlier, so we can see Telethar is actually heading to the back first, which is very interesting to me versus beating the boss directly. So that's where it's like, you know, my confidence level on which one is better drops substantially when I see Telethar do something different.
Well, I mean, you know, and sometimes, like, yes, we can come back in this case now to, like, basically praise, you know, how amazing Telethar is. I mean, I think he has probably been on Ramsey extremely active, and I think he has probably, like, 15 titles now to his name, you know. Every new tournament adds a couple of more to, you know, to his belt of accomplishments or badge or whatever. But very, very strong in routing, very strong in execution. Definitely like tries to science lab a lot of these things and optimizes. So, and as to your point, right? Like for like a lot of people, I think maybe thinking about routing, you know, thinks about like, oh yeah, like, okay, what's the best way to get to pod? What's the best way to get to, you know, how to combine these dungeons or sequence these things, right? Within dungeon routing, just as important, especially for like pod and like mire. You know, maybe like less so for like more linear dungeons like swamp or eastern. But you know, like you can lose or gain a substantial amount of time, you know, within pod, just basing on the key layout, right? Because you have so many to choose from. You have all 6, you know, that may or may not be useful.
Yeah. Like looking at it, I'm thinking, because so the big key was actually in Stelfo's basement. And so what I'm wondering is that if it was the key layout where Telethar maybe felt like one of the keys in the back was one that he wanted to use, whereas Jamo maybe was like, oh, well, like there's like a shooter room key or something. Like I apologize, but I wasn't keeping a close enough eye on it, but that would be maybe part of the reason for the difference.
Yeah. And it's also possible, like, I'm not sure in this case, like, how much time, you know, both either Telethar or Jamo to kind of devote to dungeon routing. Some people, I think, tries to come up with, like, as thorough of a route you can during the study period. Some people are kind of like, oh, we'll just look at the keys when we get to the dungeon. It's fine, you know. Kind of depends on how comfortable you are, basically, with your item discovery.
Exactly. It's like, oh, we'll just wing it, and then you get in there and wait, where was I supposed to go?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Surely no one has ever done that.
Oh no, no, of course not. Never in a spoiler.
Never. Yeah. But like this is a pretty, as far as like safeties go, this is a relatively comfy seed. We've got, I mean, on Telethar's side, we've already got the tempered sword. Excuse me. Jamo's gonna get it here and swamp here in another couple of minutes. We've got a couple of bottles. We've got cape. We've got a fairy, a blue potion. Like we've got a pretty solid set of things to keep us safe.
Oh yeah. Arya also doing like awesome job basically keeping track of everything. Yeah, like as you mentioned, we have 3 bottles to our name. I think probably at least 1 fairy. I think I saw potion or 2. We got blue mail, as you mentioned, like blue mail. We got 7 hearts. I mean, just for full disclaimer, for maybe those who try to get into spoiler, this is, I would say, not your typical level of safety and comfort for a regular open spoiler lock.
Right.
Yeah. But sometimes you can get lucky, right? And boots are in Kakariko. Your first sword is early enough, and you don't have to go fight Colster on 4 hearts green mail hammer. That's
the game would never ask that of you, right?
Oh no, of course not. No.
So here's a question. What do we think? So yeah, Telethar has to go get his King's Tomb trip. It looks like he's picked up a little bit of a lead here, right? Because I think they're basically kind of like going over the stuff that each has done at this point. But I don't think, unless I'm missing something, I don't think there's anything that Jamo has done now that Telethar missed.
No, I don't think so. Right, so Jamo's gonna finish up Argus, so he's got maybe like the half back of Swamp, and then Telethar still needs to go activate his flutes.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's really... That's right. Yeah, the only real difference though, I mean, Jamo, yes, you're absolutely, Telethar does have a non-trivial kind of like buffer, because we still have to go, get to Argus, we gotta go beat Argus, and then all of these things that you think is like, okay, they're only a little bit left. The boss animation actually, like the explosion animation takes a while, the crystal cutscene drops a while, and it's not like you're just like, 25 seconds, 30 seconds out, and you're just like, do these things really take that long?
Yeah.
So... Yeah, but okay. Overall still, I mean, so 40, maybe, I don't know, maybe there's maybe like 45 seconds difference-ish. Still not, out of the realm of competition, right? It's not like Telethar has this amazing, like, lead that he can just basically blow minutes worth on. Right. But it's certainly, you would rather still be ahead. You want to be ahead versus behind.
Yeah. Well, and I think this is, at this point, it's mostly just kind of like routing in the dungeons, right? We've got pretty much all the things we need, except for one item that surely could not be in a memeable location. That would never happen.
No, of course not. No.
I was a little curious to see if Telethar was going to go, but it looks like he would. And I understand why, but I was curious. The silver arrows were up on Bumper Ledge, and he does have a little bit of a lead, but probably not big enough for him to bother to go get that. I don't think it's worth.
Okay.
But he could have taken that trip when he activated the flute, but that would have been, I think, the last time he could have done that.
That's actually probably a good point too. Actually, talking about silvers, well, not silvers, but Jamo actually gonna go pick up some extra arrows, maybe in preparation for not Cold Stare. I was thinking more Vitreous. But we can, if Jamo wants to do the arrow version of like sword beam strats on Cold Stare to break his shell, more power to him. Don't let me stop you. Don't let me, limit you.
I was gonna say, how do we credit arrow duping versus bow landmo? Like, where does that fall on the spectrum of bow usage?
Bow Cold Stare. I would actually really like to see it. However, though, it probably doesn't come up all that often. And while I do not think, you did mention that Jamo is an OG NMG runner. I'm guessing he's probably not going to use the bow on Lambos today. That's just my guess. However, he can still pleasantly surprise me.
It's not out of the realm of possibility. We could see it. Whoa. Oh, Telethar he got screwed up by the sword beams there for a second in Mire,
right,
which
yeah.
you basically never have normally, but it messed up his timing on Spooky.
Okay, actually, yeah, I was actually not paying attention. We got a small key, which means we must have picked up the big key, or we're going to pick up the big key. Okay, awesome.
Jamo picked up the big key in Pengators, and then didn't hit the switch.
Okay. No. Yeah, definitely very familiar seeming. Like, if you in this case have a big key and a small key, you can actually, don't have to hit the switch. Nice. I think, it's quite nice.
If you saw on Jamo's side, that's like I love that strat. The hammers into the slash.
Oh
into the stair is like a really cool. I'm a big fan of it. I think it looks really smooth.
Yeah, you can definitely really tell that he, is very comfortable with his execution, for this game. I mean, anyone really has a sub 90, I think is probably going to be quite comfortable. Very well practiced. I think I also saw for his helmet fight, he also despawned like the fireballs, when in phase 1, right? So you can save a little bit of extra time. Is really great.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely that's one of those things. It's clear, like you said, it's comfort, it's confidence, and it's the ability to do stuff properly. Like, which sounds easy, but when you're in like the middle of a race environment, it is hard. Like, this is nerve-wracking.
Yeah, especially when you're pretty far, deep into the winner's side of the bracket, right? And you're also, I mean, maybe Jamo is fortunate enough to, not have, maybe he hasn't been around the rando scene long enough to know how scary of a opponent Telethar is. But but again, it doesn't matter, if it's Telethar or really anybody else in this tournament, you've gotten so far in the bracket, your opponent's going to be quite difficult. So.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Tell who?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it was very, very clean ice palace for Jamo. A little bit of a tiny cold stare party, but it's fine. I know he tried to do the double poke, but again, as you mentioned, only very minor things happened, and we got through.
Yeah, there's, if you have the ability to do everything right, then teach me, because it's
yeah, maybe a 123 is in your near future, right? If you can do everything right, that is
exactly.
maybe.
But what's also really interesting too is then when you talk to 123 runners, they'll get furious. They'll put up like a 123.45 and they'll be like, "Man, this run was so terrible," because they understand the minutia, all these like incredible tiny optimizations that they make that aren't obvious unless you have that kind of, that kind of skill level.
Oh yeah. I mean, also, and certainly, I think this is probably true in general, where all the mistakes that you make, you're just like, I can't believe I did that. This cost so much time. Those things that kind of stand out in your mind, and then all the other things that you've done well throughout the seed, right, or or through the run, kind of gets lost in the shuffle because you kind of take it for granted. And then at the end, you get like a 123.45, and you're just like, I can't believe all these things happened, and you're just like, you look at the list, you're like, I can't believe all these things happened. You still have a 123,
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. It's just like kind of like for your
Yeah. And this was a good line of conversation we were able to have while definitely nothing happened on Telethar's side.
Exactly. Yes, I was
involving the fire rod.
Stalling for content. That's right. That's how it should be.
Would never. Very nice. So Telethar is setting up the proper spooky value for the fire rod there to get a slightly faster fire rod shot here at the start, which is a nice little optimization. So I mean, at this point we're kind of we're mostly in like a little bit of a dungeon rush. There isn't a ton. What do we think about? I'm curious, Klimas, what do you think about the two relative routes, like going to push for the flute early versus kind of Telethar heading in and clearing out a couple of dungeons, maybe more opportunistically there, or I guess it was more like cleanup, like picking up things he knew he needed.
Yeah, this is actually pretty interesting, and I mean, if we go based on pure we have a fairy. We have a fairy. Okay, everything is fine. That is one of the worst possible locations to die on. I mean, every death is obviously very terrible, except for the ones I guess you intended to death warp on. But like going back to Vitreous, any NMG runner will tell you like Vitreous and Coldstare are Ganon's like employees of the time unit of your choice. Minute, year, month.
Right.
And any time. Those. I mean, it takes forever to get back there, and also especially for Coldstare, you need magic depending on how far in the fight you got. and
it's so brutal, and it's such a feels bad. Like those types of mistakes with bosses that are hard to get back to are like so emotionally draining, because then you also have to like kind of immediately suck it up and be like, okay, now I've got to get there again, and then do the fight right, which is not a guarantee either.
Yeah. I mean, I have heard, through some memery that the second time is always free. However, that is not to be taken lightly. Do not just assume in this case that even if you go back the second time, you'll be okay.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing free is the Turtle Rock Quick Warp. We know this.
Yes, exactly. I heard it's only free if you have an emote dedicated to this. So
that's that. You know what? That is an IQ 9000 strategy. I've got to say.
It's that's why they call it pay to play. The more emote slots you have, the better you are at this game.
Woo! Really nice fight from Telethar there.
Yeah. And I was also thinking. Okay, right. But back to your original question. Normally the things that I think every pilot or parser for the log, you try to look for two major things, right? So you search for boots and then you search for flute. Those are like your two primary, major movement items. Whether Dark World, Light World, doesn't matter. So you want to rush boots, and then the other one is you would really like to rush the flute, because like flute can save you so much overworld travel. And in this case, like Telethar didn't rush the flute, versus like Jamo. But I think overall, like I'm not sure how many times Jamo used the flute in order to kind of gain time over like Telethar's overworld routing. So maybe actually I think like the Telethar's route in order to go get myths first, and then in addition to that, being able to go and like get all of the swords, right? Master Sword, Tempered Sword, and Swamp, and be able to use that might have actually worked out a little bit nicer.
Yeah, I think so. And there's a Jesse saying in chat kind of the same thing. I agree with you. I think that it seemed like a smart decision. It put him in a position to take care of the stuff he needed to take care of, like really cleanly, like coming north up into Kakariko. Like that was like a very sort of nice pathing. And then like I do think that like having we often don't give enough credit to like having like the right advantage on like equipment can make a huge difference in certain cases.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely true. And you actually see, so this is part of also the strategy of how honest you are with yourself. So like when you're typically, especially for spoiler, we talk about safeties. Like is blue mail worth it to go 30 seconds out of my way for in order to get? Maybe for you it is. Maybe for some other people it's not. Right? Kind of depends on how honest you feel. Same goes for offense, especially for swords. If you need half magic, if you need we won't talk about shields, but if you, especially for if you are not comfortable, with a fighter sword Mothula fight or fighter sword hammer fight, versus master sword, it might actually be worth it for you to slightly change your route to go get a master sword early. If you are, if you're a very good NMG runner and your comfort level is tempered sword, that maybe is gonna be the thing that you rush, because you will save enough time for the rest of the bosses or whatever other fights you have to actually make that time worth it.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good way to think about it too, right? Is it's like the route has to be what makes sense for you to do it the fastest, not what makes sense for what anybody could do the fastest.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Although we did see, to your point, Telethar did not get the quick warp because he does not have the emote. So
exactly. Yeah. We certainly do see a lot of people, using Dark Link nowadays. I mean, not a lot, but I mean, like I know that some people are just trying to get part of the like the Dark Link 122 energy, but yeah, you really gotta like follow through on the entire thing, right? You gotta get dedicated to the quick warp emotes.
Yeah, well, and we see Telethar here coming into Turtle Rock without his ice rod. Oh wait, haha, very
gosh.
Funny game. Imagine.
It was here the whole time. You definitely would have rushed Turtle Rock, right? PH?
Oh yeah. You know what? If I would actually probably be at least 5 to 10 minutes ahead of both of these guys without the spoiler log, because I for sure would have been here.
Exactly. Yeah. Forget about all the other things, by the way, we had to go into. Pendant thieves down for flippers. Pendant skull was in the back, no less. To go get our mitts. Yeah. When are we ever going back there? Never. Okay, it's fine.
It's this is funny because it's not like a bad spoiler seed, but it would be a pretty like, and this happens a lot. It would be a pretty gnarly regular open seed, but for spoiler, I mean, you can see we're cruising through TR here at well under 40 minutes. Like this is booking it pretty good. Like
oh yeah. No, this is, I mean, it's been, as you mentioned before, right? We actually, the early game, the pure early game with specifically Hera, that required a lot of resourcefulness, from, and you actually can see that both Telethar and Jamo kind of had to, really crank the wheels, in order to get, to save your magic, save your bombs, go farm the extremely dangerous bombs, in Death Mountain in order to go get through the dungeon. But kind of like after that, we got some good safeties, we got armor, we got health, we got a fair, we got swords. That's
super early boots.
Oh yeah, super early boots. Yes.
I will say though, I'm extremely disappointed in Telethar. He got the god pokies and then still hit the fire rod shot.
Yeah,
which is sad day.
Yeah,
but he makes up for it by getting this. He got the squeeze, so he makes up for it. But yeah, it's like, because we can kind of get a sense now. This is sort of cruising into the end. Telethar's got. It's not like again, it's not an insurmountable lead if he makes a mistake somewhere, but he's a reason. Oop, that's
okay. I was not. Oh, okay. We have Jamo was also demonstrating the NMG experience on the Chomps room. Nobody likes Chomps. We almost died in Chomps. Talking about squeezes. Is there a Chomp squeeze? Because I think Jamo just did that.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. So, yeah, I mean, so let's see, what is this? That's probably like what is this, about a minute and change? Oh, he's doing that ice rod strat.
Yeah, very cool. It's hard to,
nice.
I mean, it's hard to execute, I think. You have to do timing a little bit, but it's really great to see when it actually works, just like most things.
Yeah, it's really slick. It's nice. That's what's fun sometimes too about
slick?
watching like really good, like
I see what you did there. Yeah, I see what you did there. Good job,
PH. Okay.
Everything's okay. No, I think Telethar still has his parry from Pod, so.
He was okay. He just little squirrely.
Yeah. And actually, I think Telethar is on record for saying that the fairy in the bottle is like the best safety you'll never use. As in, you can play so aggressive. There was actually one, I think, maybe like pilot spoil that he did recently, where he was climbing on like 4 or 5 hearts, and he like total hearts, but he only had 1 heart, like actual 1 heart going through the gauntlet, and he had a fairy, and he was able to just confidently keep playing, right? Because if you die, you get hit, you get the fairy, and you get a refill. Until then, you're just playing as normal. And if you never use it, even better. You don't have to incur the, like the 9-second fairy revival thing, and then continue and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, it's a huge point because like the dying is slow, but also almost dying is kind of slow, right? Because you have to, if you're on Oko, you stop playing normal. Like you start oh, well, do I do this dash? No, I should just walk, blah, blah, blah. It absolutely changes how you think about every room in the game, and probably actually causes you to mess up more often because we do muscle memory for so much.
Yeah, so. No, exactly. Yeah, because especially if you're going through. Well, I guess Teleth's gonna go find the big key first. But you're going. Gauntlet's a great example, right? Is that you have, you're kind of assuming that, you probably will take a little damage here and there, but okay, you know what? We found the big key. Okay, we're gonna go.
there it is.
Let's see. Perfect. We got it. Okay. Let's go. I'm gonna assume that because of the mirror, there is a key upstairs as well, so we don't have to go steal the conveyor crosspot key. So we'll go up here. So nobody panic. I'm just gonna assume that Telethar knows that there's a key upstairs. Yes. But if you go back to you Gauntlet normally, especially for NMG, you're kind of expected to go up in almost full health, right? Or enough health where even if you take a hit or two, you'll be okay. But it does kind of assume that even the fast strats, have a little bit of room for damage error, and to the point where it might even assume that you might take a little damage in order to make things faster. And if you're an Oko, as you said, right, not only if you don't have the muscle memory, now you're trying to be more cautious, and more cautious leads to more uncertainty, and that can actually, paradoxically, actually cause you to lose more health.
Yeah, it absolutely does. It's such a funny kind of I don't want to say it's a contradiction, but it's definitely like a funny component of how
all this
stuff tends to work. I mean, choking is like an actually studied concept in psychology. Like the idea of when you start trying to think about how to do things, you actually get worse at them, which is the opposite of what you're trying to accomplish. Ooh, nice G3 RNG.
Yeah, this is when, yeah, nice arrow. That pings Isaac. It's actually probably one of my favorite strats. I mean, okay, not only because I'm biased with the bow. How I do it, there's an actual legit strat to be able to try and like pin down this Isaac, because he, for some reason, has this habit of just wanting to run away from you, and to be able to slow him down just a little bit is super helpful.
Oh, it's a huge difference. Really nice. Yeah. That was a really solid first half of the climb from Telethar. That was very quick.
Yeah, kind of also another thing that we saw, like, you're talking about actually kind of like comfort in spoiler logs. The lamp was right next to the boots, pretty much. And the lamp, like, yeah, I'm very confident that Telethar and Jamo, can do their dark rooms. I don't think we really saw that. I mean, they had it for Mire, they had it for Pod, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But also, like, the fact that Telethar has the lamp here in Gauntlet, or in GT, also release a lot of magic pressure,
Right.
So in this case, you don't have to, like, you saw him basically use all his fire rod shots, for Lamos too, and, doesn't bat an eye, right?
Oh yeah. It makes a big difference. Like, if you're able to do the things that you normally would do, or use some extra magic and torches, because why not?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is kind of going to be able to offset, like, the fact that we don't have any silvers, right? So, I mean, I think you mentioned, right, so, like, Telethar, probably to some extent also, Jamo could also have gotten silvers from Bumper Cave after Swamp, but the cost that it takes in order to get to Dark World, go back in, then do Bumper Cave, is probably too high, so probably just not going to happen today.
Yeah, for where it was, and also for the fact that they already had, like, Tempered, I think if you're on Master Sword, it's probably, I should say, feels worth it to me, but in that situation, Bumper is not a fast check, so going into the Dark World and then going all the way around, it was more kind of like, again, like a question of comfort, but given the other things that we have here, Telethar also has quite a few hearts, right? We're on, what, 9, I think, right now?
How did we grow to that high? This is abnormal, completely abnormal.
Right? It's like, it's actually, like, comfy is maybe not exactly the right word, but it's like comfy-ish. It's comfy adjacent.
Well, I should see potentially some Jamo actually just running out of magic just to let. Is he gonna make this? Oh, he did not light the last torch.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, that was. We actually got like a nice kind of like menu peek at the rest of his bottles. So I think it looks like there is no more safeties for him to use. So not that I'm again worried about him right now, because we're at full health. We're probably gonna have mostly full health, if not full health going into Ganon. So. And I don't really foresee, especially with the lamp, I don't really see him running out of magic. Even, if he misses a torch glitch, which I hope he doesn't, but he is a lamp, right? So everything will be fine.
Putting that into the universe.
Yeah. Although maybe Jamo is so good at NMG that he has never missed torch glitch in his life, So, and then we don't have to worry. Hello, Telethar. We do have the fairy? I think we have the fairy. Okay.
We have the fairy, but we don't. There goes the 1-in-1.
Good points. Good points.
Nope, never mind. He did save it.
Okay. Yeah, Telethar right now. I'm not. I assume. I think he in the past he's watched his opponent after a certain point, right? Like he's gotten all the stuff, and maybe he's at a point, where we're waiting for the crystal cutscene to finish, and maybe you can take a peek in. He probably have a sense of where he is in the race, and so he just needs to not mess up. Which, again, it's easier said than done, because we're still at the end of the seed. Like, right now, we don't appreciate Ganon's bats. Oh my god!
Telethar.
Okay, we have the last.
Jeez.
Oh my god!
Okay. Alright, this is fine. Alright, so, Jamo, let's have a clean fight. Let's see.
Yeah, let's not panic. Okay, look, the blood pressure of everybody here that's watching does not need to be any higher. Oh.
Telethar did do a nice job of not panicking when he got hit. Like, because if you continue holding up there, you'll get bounced right off the stage.
Yeah. Yo, that's actually a really good tip, by the way. If you ever get hit by a fire anything, right, just let go of your keypad, you know, and then you won't actually move, and you'll just kind of stand still. You'll take the damage, but that's way better than, like, flying off the screen and then dropping down, and then you gotta start the fight over.
Yep. And on that note, Telethar does finish off the fight. GG's. Get your GG's in chat.
Yeah, big GG's. Yeah, very well played. Well routed. You know, early boots. You know, can't ever complain. And I do think, yeah, overall, like Telethar's kind of like, you know, to some extent his mid game for like macro routing worked out pretty well. I think also his in game like dungeon routing also worked out pretty well. Probably was the things that kind of made like the major differences. Not that, you know, Jamo is like pretty, you know, they're within what, like one minute probably of each other. So
yeah, it's close. Hey, Telethar, GG's.
Yo, Telethar, GG's.
Thank you.
I saw you saying no logic in the chat. What? Come on, when's Telethar no logic begin?
I'm too scared of that. Those bottles were like ridiculous. they were just like, hey, by the way, you're gonna get one in one in Blind's hideout. You could skip that one, but every other one is just like literally in your path with content inside of it.
Yeah. Sorry, Klimas, I cut you off. I apologize. What were you going to ask?
No, I've already forgotten what I was going to say. So please continue.
I'm so sorry.
No. Please, it was. I'm sure nothing important. Oh, I remember now. So, how was the good job not panicking on phase 4? We all panicked for you, so you didn't need to do it for yourself.
When were you panicking? I mean, obviously, I ran into Ganon on phase.
Oh yes, 2. Phase 3 into phase 4, I guess.
The fire getting hit by the ring of fire.
Oh yeah. No, I was fine. Everything was fine.
Everything was fine.
I just knew I needed to not like miss the torch glitch by trying to do some crazy stuff. I'm just like, let's just wait.
Yo, and we are also joined by Jamo. GG's Jamo.
Yo, GG's Jamo. Welcome.
Oops, I was muted. Yo, GG's.
Yo, you played very well.
Yeah, at some parts. At other parts, not so well. But yeah, that early game sucked. I know I was pretty far behind after that. I was so stressed about that Hera situation, the no weapon. Like, I knew that was going to be an issue because I've never practiced that room and there was no bombs anywhere. So I was really worried about that room. And I did lose a lot of time there.
I just reset it and used pots twice.
Oh wait, you can walk out and back in, and the pots respawn and not the.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say you actually did a really nice job with getting the beetles.
Yeah, I mean, I clutched it with the bombs, but it was like. I mean, I thought I was gonna end up leaving and like go get bombs somewhere. Oh my god, I never knew that. I've never practiced that room with no sword before.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that, to be honest. I got there and I was like, huh, I have like 2 fire rod shots and no bombs, and I need to, or like 1 bomb, and I need to.
Well, fire rod doesn't even do anything on them, right? I was like.
No, but I needed the bomb. I needed the fire rod just to get into the dungeon.
Oh, yeah.
I had 1 bomb to my name, I think. So
I think I used a green potion there to get fire rod magic to hit the switches.
Yeah, I was thinking that I should have. I just didn't. I somehow, on the left side of Mini Moldorm Cave, shot 2 fire rod shots and hit neither Mini Moldorm. Like, I was...
Man, I was down to my last shot in Mini Moldorm. That was scary. I had one that missed them. Because I guess you farmed the crab for magic, right? Before doing that?
Yeah, I killed a guard for a bomb and then farmed the crab for magic.
Yeah, I did the same thing, yeah.
The early game farming was very similar, and also the fact that you both almost didn't get through Mini Moldorm Cave was really similar, like having like only like a shot left.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm curious how far behind I was after the start, because I had some good execution this round. I felt like my climb was pretty solid. I don't know if I was losing time on climb or maybe keeping up.
It was close. I think you maybe gave up a little bit. There was I think part of it, Telethar had really good RNG in G3 and had like a really clean path through there. I think you had, you guys actually were really similar. You even used like the same strat in like the spike room and all that stuff.
I had the magic issue though. I ran out of magic and then I was
torches.
failing to select my bottle. I thought I had one lamp left there, but apparently not.
Yeah, that was probably
a single potion at that point, so I just drank my green going in.
Yeah, like I mean I had to drink my blue there to do torches too, but like I just wasn't expecting it, so like I was menuing and wasting a lot of time with that.
You guys had some interesting actually, probably the biggest divergence in the routes was kind of mid-game. Clearmouse and I were talking about it. The decision to continue on to Vu and Kakariko after getting that sword out of Dig, Telethar, versus Jamo, you went over to Pod and got the flute and ether first.
Yeah, I did notice because I think I peeked over at some point and saw he was like already doing mountain for Kane. So I was like, oh, he must have got the mitts first before getting the flute. Which, yeah, I don't know between those. It's not much of a difference, I guess.
Yeah, I felt like it doesn't cost that much time to go from swamp to pod as opposed to mere flute. Like that's like not really time lost, I guess, in my mind. And then like I just wanted Samaria for pod, and you needed to go through Dvu and like end in Skullwoods anyways, and then it was really awkward with the swords being on Dig Game. I
was like struggling to figure out how I'm going to do that loop. So it ended up being Hype Cave, then Hype Cave left, and then just save and quit and go to pod, which I don't know if that's good, and then just like save and quit again and go to CAC for that stuff.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I think if you're going to do that loop, you definitely delay Hype Cave until you're going to pod. Just, save a screen transition.
Oh, because I went right for one screen for Hype Cave and then went back to the left, right?
Yeah.
That's true. I didn't think of that.
But as for what I did versus what you did, I'm not really sure. You're already at Dig Game. It's not like you're adding an extra trip to the village or like to Kakariko anyway. You're already there.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't really think about just mirroring and going up from Dig Game.
Mm-hmm. But I'm not sure. I was sort of also, that was I think the most interesting part of the seed in terms of routing.
Yeah. The rest you kind of got go mode really fast after that, and it was go mode for like 5 dungeons outside of the ice rod in TR.
Yeah, I think maybe another thing that happened in pod was Jamo. Like you went to go beat Helma first, and then you came back for the flute. Whereas I think Telethar went to go get the flute first, and then went to go beat Helma. I'm not sure how much of a time difference that actually ended up being.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Because I felt like I should drop down to Stalfos and then get the 2 keys right side and then go straight to Helma. I felt like maybe that's better, but I don't know if it was or not.
Well, what I ended up doing was I skipped shooter room entirely, did right side, went to the back immediately with Samaria, which saved some time, and then and then I got my small key. I did like compass, dark basement, right into bomb jump, and then you can mirror back to. You have 2 keys, so you mirror back to the front, grab Stalfos, and then go beat the boss.
I see. Yeah, I never think about skipping shooter room, but
the new strategy is to skip shooter room in non-spoiler. So like.
Because you're assuming it's a key there. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if it's actually good or not, but it's a
theory.
I have been messing around with it. It's interesting.
That was interesting.
It's a good idea until it's a bad idea, but until then,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know, Quimos. Oops, sorry.
I was just gonna say I lost by a minute 20 or something. Yeah, considering the early stuff, I think that's not too bad. Like, I probably lost not a minute 20, but I definitely lost a decent bit on the Hera stuff because I didn't know about the stupid pot thing, and because I failed the Spectacle Rock bomb jump.
Oh right, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was pretty expensive. So that was the one other thing. Telethar did that after all of it, so he just was able to save and quit out of grabbing the.
Yeah, you know, actually, after I did it, I was thinking, like, I guess you could have just mirrored out of Hera and do that after. Maybe that makes more sense. Or it's probably, like, the same as long as you don't fail the bomb jump, but I think I walked too far down.
Yeah. Yeah, that's... I mean, if you get the lineup right, that's generally why you fail it, is you're like, you can't be all the way down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think it was still pretty solid. Because I want to say, like, very roughly, by the time, I think, after Telethar activated the flute, and you guys were pretty much in, like, you know, Ice Rod Go mode, and just kind of clearing dungeons at that point, you were probably around maybe, like, 45 seconds maybe behind, after you were finishing up Swamp. See, I think you still had, like, Phelps Way and, like, Argus and, like, and then whatever the end of the cutscene was, and then I think probably from there, whatever other time you had, maybe was just spent in, like, GT or, like, very minor things. Like, maybe, like, Cold Stare also made a little bit of difference. I think, Telethar might have had a better, like, a more cleaner Cold Stare fight.
Kill on Cold Stare. Messed up the quick kill on Vidi as well, and lost my fairy there.
Right,
I can't believe I've never missed the bow one when I just have to bow two of them. I've never missed that before. That was crazy.
Oh, you guys actually did the different route in ice. I thought that was interesting too.
Oh, right, yeah. I see all these little things, right? They ended up in, like, you know, just kind of, you know, a lot of probably just back and forth. I mean, it's hard to kind of, like, tell the exact absolute time differences were, but yeah, these are all these just, like, minor differences.
Yeah,
you hit the switch in ice?
Yeah, did you? I don't think Compass is worth it if you're gonna, like, to
Really?
save the switch bit. No. I mean, it's like 5 seconds faster in vanilla preset when it's big key chest and spike chest.
It's only, is it only 5 seconds? Okay, I thought it was a little more than that. Maybe I was incorrect then. It's probably pretty close though, I would think.
Yeah, I don't think it's like run difference.
It didn't seem like it was a huge difference. It was just kind of interesting that, like, again, like, these probably not major difference makers, but the fact that even within a relatively linear part of the seed, there were these little small adjustments that you each made with how you approached it. It was really cool to watch.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, GG's.
It was really fun, right? Yeah, big GG's.
Thank you for comms tracking restream. Good luck, Jamo, in waiting, I think, for a while.
Yeah.
Both of us, right?
You have, like, 2 more rounds, I think, of people waiting for you.
Wait, no, you don't have to wait because you're just waiting for Gamma and.
Yeah, but
right?
yeah, but Gamma has let me know that we're gonna wait for like 3 weeks for everyone else to catch up.
Oh, I see.
So.
Well, good luck waiting to you both.
I mean, I took a peek at the bracket, and there's people in the second round of losers, but really their first round of losers, and they haven't played a single match yet. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to wait for 4 consecutive matches before you get to play.
Yeah, that's okay. I feel like I've always been behind on the brackets in these tournaments until now. It's nice to actually be ahead, and now I can just chill and watch the restreams and see who I'm up against.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Speaking of potential future opponents, right? So Telethar is playing the winner of Gamma versus Rulkin. That is tomorrow night, Sunday at 8:15 p.m. Eastern. One of the fellow losers round matches that people are eagerly awaiting to be seen is also Sunday. Was it 2:15 p.m. That's Gem versus Pylovin. And that hopefully both of these games will also get on the schedule. There's also Faker versus Jesse. Skelly, not Jesse, Skelly, and that's on Tuesday, 9:15 a.m. So lots of good spoilers to go watch. Yeah, and then, but I think otherwise, I think you guys will just be waiting for your next round opponents. Yeah, sorry, Jesse. I met Skelly. They're all very similar. But yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Arya, for tracking. Very excellent. To be able to keep up with everything because everything's always fast paced. So thank you so much. PH, thank you for doing commentary.
This is the first time we've gotten a chance to com, and
I know. I can't
so
believe
pumped.
this.
so pumped. This was super fun. Thank you.
This is so great.
Yeah, Telethar, Jamo, and then of course Arya and Phoenix for everything. This was a super great time. It was a really interesting race, and we got a chance to do this.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you so much, Telethar and Jamo. Yeah, like I said, it was really fun race to watch. It was very close, and it was just very interesting also to see like what the different decisions were because it kind, like when you first kind of look at the major things, you're like, oh, okay, the route's pretty similar, but then like you have all the same information, you have the same study period, and like very many things were different. So, yeah. Yeah, but congrats, Telethar, on advancing, and of course Jamo on waiting longer. I think that's it for me. Anything else from you guys?
No, I already said my thanks.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, GG again. Thank you for the restream.
Yeah, super fun. All right, okay. Well, yeah, have a good night. Until keep your eyes on the schedule tomorrow. Lots of stuff going on for SGL online, not just for Link to the Past randomizer, but yeah. So tomorrow, 2:15 is Gem versus Peidelman, and then Gamma versus Ralkin for 8:15 p.m. So I'm sure there'll be channels assigned to those games because it'll be very exciting to watch. Until then, have a good rest of your evening.